Nostradamus, the legendary 16th century seer, is said to have accurately predicted many of the most shocking events in history, from the rise of Napoleon and Hitler to World War II. And now, his predictions for 2025 are sending shivers down the spines of the world. Will there be a global war? A massive economic collapse or an unprecedented natural disaster? What Nostradamus has warned about this year will shock you, and may change the way you look at the future. Check out Nostradamus's 10 scariest predictions for 2025 that you need to know now before it's too late. If you believe in God and near-death experiences, subscribe to Heaven's Whisper today. Discover inspiring messages from God through powerful near-death stories that bring hope and understanding. Subscribe now and join us in spreading the light of faith. From the passing of Queen Elizabeth to the potential abdication of Pope. From looming shadow of Antichrist to rapid rise of AI and escalating global tensions. Many believe Nostradamus's visions resonate with modern times, echoing themes found in the Bible. His accuracy has amazed generations. And now, as predictions for 2025 draw closer, curiosity grows. This deep dive explores top 10 prophecies for the coming year and their potential impact on the future. One of the most anticipated predictions involves transformation within the Catholic Church. According to his 1555 work Les Prophecies, Nostradamus foresaw a year marked by turmoil, from conflicts at sea to royal upheaval and humanitarian crisis. At 87 years old in 2025, Pope Francis has already faced significant health challenges, even skipping the UN climate conference due to lung issues. Nostradamus predicted the passing of an elderly pontiff, leading to rise of a Roman of good age who would sit long yet weaken his position. Could this signal a waning influence of church or perhaps a new scandal on horizon? Only time will reveal true nature of this prophecy. Another striking prediction for 2025 relates to dawn of Age of Aquarius. Some believe this astrological era will bring transformation, spiritual awakening, and innovation over next 2.600 years. Yet Nostradamus saw it differently, warning that Age of Aquarius could bring blood, milk, famine, war, and disease, hinting at hardships humanity may face during transition. Recent crises, pandemics, climate change, economic downturns, social upheaval, seem eerily in line with chaos he described. With cryptic language and layered metaphors, Nostradamus's writings invite countless interpretations. His quatrains remain famously ambiguous, open to various meanings and adaptable to many events. Are we on brink of world he envisioned? This breakdown explores possibilities of his prophecies for 2025. One of most chilling predictions centers around rise of artificial intelligence. He foresaw a world where superintelligent machines break free from human control, leading to widespread chaos. In a cryptic quatrain, he wrote of combat, naval battles, bombings, and a global uprising of superior intelligence created by man. Though exact timeline is uncertain, his words paint a stark picture of an AI revolt disrupting power grids, the internet, and daily life. Imagine a world where machines, robots, and algorithms no longer follow human commands, throwing industries, economies, and governments into turmoil. Some analysts suggest that combats and naval battles he referenced could hint at rising conflicts between world powers, United States, China, Russia, and India, competing to dominate AI. Meanwhile, Nostradamus also predicted the return of Donald Trump. He spoke of a leader rising during deep instability, a figure challenging norms and polarizing society. This outsider, a disruptor with a strong personality, seems to align with Trump's journey, from real estate mogul and reality TV star to an unconventional political force in 2016 and now in 2025. Nostradamus predicted this leader's impact would usher in upheaval and transformation, a prophecy many see reflected in sweeping changes under Trump's administration. His predictions extended beyond politics, touching on economic shifts and international challenges that feel relevant today. He spoke of a time when the giant, often thought to represent the United States, would face economic struggles but also potential for transformation. Adding another layer, some have drawn connections between these prophecies and Book of Revelation. Revelation 13 verses 5 to 7 describes a powerful leader wielding great influence amid intense opposition. The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies and to exercise its authority for 42 months. It was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them. Though traditionally interpreted in an eschatological context, this imagery resonates with Trump's polarizing effect on American society. Nostradamus' vision wasn't meant to point directly to Trump, but these parallels offer a unique lens through which to view this controversial figure as the world watches his next move. Emergence of China as a major world power is reshaping global dynamics and raising questions about future international relations. Over years, China has asserted itself through bold naval displays, particularly in disputed regions like South China Sea and Taiwan. Many geopolitical experts warn this buildup could lead to a larger conflict, potentially involving NATO and escalating into full-scale military engagement. Nostradamus' centuries-old predictions appear to reflect these anxieties. In one cryptic verse, he wrote of a red adversary trembling and causing dread across vast oceans. Could this red adversary represent modern-day China, whose rising influence and power are capturing world's attention? Scholars debate meaning, but alignment with current tensions is striking. Nostradamus' gaze extended far beyond Earth, foreseeing moments in space resonating today. One prophecy speaks of a celestial fire and a darkening of Mars's light. This mysterious phrase has drawn comparisons to modern ambition to explore Mars, with Elon Musk at forefront. Musk's vision to build a human city on Mars reflects a new age of exploration. With reusable rockets and grand plans, SpaceX aims to send humans as early as 2025, potentially establishing a colony by 2050. Imagine a future where interplanetary travel becomes as routine as boarding a plane. Musk believes such a reality is closer than ever, envisioning fleets of starships ferrying thousands to Mars. Even pop culture hints at Mars's role in future. In The Simpsons episode The Marge Chronicles, Marge and Lisa travel to Mars in 2051, humorously mirroring Musk's goal to establish a permanent presence on planet. As science fiction inches towards science fact, humanity seems poised to become a multiplanetary civilization, a thought that raises profound questions. Are we driven to escape Earth, rewrite history, or simply explore? For those of Christian faith, fascination with the cosmos resonates with a deeper longing. Scriptures speak of a time when believers will inherit a new creation and explore wonders beyond imagination. Journey to Mars may be a metaphor for humanity's larger quest for meaning and understanding. While earthly conflicts and ambitions drive exploration, hope remains that one day space travel and discovery will serve a divine purpose, fulfilling dreams of a curious and resilient species. Until then, humanity stands on the brink, gazing at stars, torn between battles of this world and mysteries beyond. Nostradamus' warnings about natural disasters paint a grim picture of the future, marked by cataclysmic events reshaping the world. Among his prophecies is an ominous vision of an asteroid collision with Earth, triggering massive earthquakes and tsunamis, leaving devastation in their wake. He also suggested a dramatic worsening of climate conditions in 2025, predicting increasingly violent storms, heightened temperatures, and extreme weather events. These include severe snowstorms across North America, volcanic eruptions in Iceland, dense fog, and biting cold waves in India. His predictions echo erratic and destructive climate patterns already unfolding. In one haunting verse, Nostradamus wrote, "The dry earth will grow more parched, and there will be great floods when it is seen." He foresaw an unforgiving sequence of events, rising global hunger fueled by pestilence, deadly tsunamis, and devastating floods swallowing coastal lands and destroying farmlands. Such extreme conditions, he warned, could lead to widespread famine as ruined agricultural regions failed to support a growing population. Nostradamus even hinted at a powerful earthquake that would claim thousands of lives. A prophecy that, in light of recent quakes in places like Morocco, feels unnervingly present. This apocalyptic scenario mirrors themes from Bible's end-time prophecies, particularly those describing famine and other signs of global decline. Both Nostradamus and Bible predict waves of pestilence ravaging Earth, triggering food shortages and suffering on a massive scale. For ancient Israel, times of scarcity were harsh realities. The land was rugged, reliant on brief seasonal rains, and any fluctuation in rainfall brought the looming threat of famine. In ancient world, drought and hunger weren't seen as random misfortunes but as reflections of divine will. Book of Deuteronomy describes a promise: Israel would enjoy abundant rains if obedient to God. While disobedience would bring drought and barrenness, the skies above your head shall be copper, and the earth under you iron. When times were good, it was seen as divine favor. When disaster struck, people viewed it as punishment or a call for repentance. Prophets were often tasked with discerning cause of God's anger and guiding people back to faith. King Solomon, aware of these cycles, prayed that Israel would find forgiveness if it ever turned back to God during famine. In ancient mindset, famine wasn't only an ending but also a chance for renewal, both a consequence of sin and an opportunity for national reflection and growth. In Book of Samuel, a 3-year famine in Israel was attributed to actions of King Saul. For Israel, droughts and famines were stark reminders of dependence on divine mercy. Nostradamus's prophecies offer unsettling visions of the future, warnings that seem especially poignant in today's world. In one instance, he alludes to a devastating wave of pestilence and deadly earthquakes, drawing comparisons to biblical passages like Mark 13 verses 7-8, when you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Jesus speaks of earthquakes in various places and famines, events described as the beginning of birth pains. Nostradamus's verses echo this sentiment, hinting that these disasters serve as reminders, perhaps even warnings, that humanity is living in an era where catastrophic events are accelerating, pointing to the last days of the last days. Revelation 2 speaks of massive earthquakes during a prophesied tribulation, events described as beyond anything Earth has ever known. Yet, Olivet Discourse in Bible suggests these disasters are not immediate signs of the world's end but rather a foreshadowing, much like labor pains signaling impending birth of a child. For believers, these birth pains are a call to vigilance, a reminder that Christ will eventually return to fulfill promises of a new beginning. Nostradamus's prophecies often highlight cycles of history, warning that humanity's greatest threats are not only external, such as natural disasters and wars, but also internal, stemming from greed, corruption, and imbalance within societies. While earthquakes, famines, and storms shake physical world, social and political unrest shake foundations of civilizations, bringing instability and transformation. Beyond natural calamities, Nostradamus envisioned another powerful upheaval, a wave of social revolutions gripping world by 2025. His writings describe a fire that will burn in heart of cities, a metaphor many interpret as a warning of social and political turmoil fueled by rising inequality and disillusionment with existing systems. These prophecies, often seen as abstract or vague, feel remarkably relevant today, with the gap between rich and poor widening and societal tensions over race, gender, and class reaching critical points. Nostradamus's words seem to forecast a tipping point where dissatisfaction with social conditions could erupt into widespread upheaval. One interpretation suggests Nostradamus foresaw a massive uprising against ruling elites, a rebellion in response to visible inequities most apparent in large urban areas. In recent years, Waves of protests and riots have erupted across the globe, from streets of Hong Kong to Paris, with people challenging corruption, oppression, and inequality. Some believe Nostradamus' vision hints that by 2025, such unrest will escalate, sparking transformative social changes. Others interpret this prophecy in terms of technological influence. Nostradamus also speaks of a new power challenging traditional systems, which some believe refers to rise of social media and digital technology. In recent history, digital platforms have played a crucial role in organizing movements, from Arab Spring to Black Lives Matter, amplifying marginalized voices and enabling massive demonstrations. Nostradamus' new power might symbolize a digital revolution shifting global power dynamics, using technology to hold leaders accountable in ways previously unimaginable. As digital revolution accelerates, artificial intelligence, automation, and surveillance technologies further reshape societies, bringing both opportunities and challenges. Some analysts argue that Nostradamus' prophecies regarding machines rising beyond human control may not only refer to AI-driven warfare but also to how algorithms and data influence political decisions, economies, and public perception, with power shifting from traditional institutions to digital entities. Some believe a new form of leadership, perhaps even an AI-driven authority, could emerge, fundamentally altering how nations and societies function. Of course, not everyone sees Nostradamus' predictions as definitive. Critics argue his language is deliberately vague, making it easy to apply his words to a wide range of social and political events. Yet, in a world marked by natural disasters and social upheaval, Nostradamus' writings offer a thought-provoking lens. Whether his visions will unfold exactly as foretold remains to be seen. But his prophecies highlight humanity's perpetual struggle against forces both natural and societal, serving as reminders of ongoing changes and challenges shaping collective future. Nostradamus' cryptic prophecies have once again captured attention, this time with a prediction some interpret as signaling an end to reign of King Charles III. According to British author and Nostradamus expert Mario Reading, a particular verse seems to hint at Charles's departure from throne. The prophecy allegedly points to a king of Isles being driven out by force and replaced by one who will have no mark of a king. This line has fueled speculation that Charles's time as king could be cut short, either due to health challenges or perhaps political turmoil within British monarchy. Recent discussions about royal succession, ongoing debates about relevance of monarchy in modern times, and shifting public sentiment toward British royal family all contribute to a broader narrative of uncertainty surrounding monarchy's future. Some theorists suggest this prophecy hints at an unexpected shift in royal power, possibly leading to abdication, constitutional crisis, or emergence of a ruler breaking from traditional norms. Another layer of speculation connects this prophecy to growing republican movements within United Kingdom and Commonwealth nations. Over past decades, support for monarchy has declined in regions like Australia, Canada, and Caribbean, with increasing calls for nations to sever ties with British Crown. Nostradamus' vision of a king removed by force could symbolize a moment when multiple nations reject monarchy, fundamentally altering its influence. Meanwhile, geopolitical tensions continue to rise, aligning with Nostradamus' warnings about international conflicts, particularly those involving China, United States, and Europe. His cryptic writings reference a red adversary trembling across vast oceans, a phrase many link to China's expanding influence. With increasing military activity in South China Sea, ongoing trade wars, and concerns about Taiwan's sovereignty, global power dynamics are shifting rapidly. If Nostradamus' predictions hold any truth, coming years may bring significant political, economic, and military confrontations. Space exploration also remains a key theme in Nostradamus' prophecies, with references to celestial fire, darkened skies, and human settlements beyond Earth. Many interpret these as predictions about Mars colonization, asteroid mining, and possibility of extraterrestrial discoveries. Elon Musk's ambition to establish a human colony on Mars by 2050 aligns with these visions, raising questions about humanity's long-term survival beyond Earth. Ultimately, Nostradamus' writings serve as mirrors reflecting anxieties and hopes of every era. Whether his words predict inevitable fate or merely highlight patterns repeating through history is a debate that continues. As the world faces unprecedented challenges, climate change, geopolitical instability, technological disruption, and social unrest, his prophecies remind humanity of fragile balance between progress and destruction. Only time will tell whether Nostradamus' visions for 2025 will unfold as feared. But one thing remains clear: his words continue to captivate, provoke, and inspire curiosity about the future that lies ahead. Even public disapproval has grown, as reports have emerged that Charles was diagnosed with prostate cancer only months after becoming king, sparking concern among British public. Mario Reading's analysis goes further, suggesting that Charles may not reign for long due to perceived unworthiness, possibly tied to past controversies surrounding his divorce and marriage to Camilla. Some believe he could be pressured to abdicate due to declining health or a shift in public opinion. If King Charles were to step down, most likely successor is, of course, his eldest son, Prince William. As Prince of Wales, William has been closely involved in royal duties and has a reputation for stability and commitment to his role, making him a prepared and conventional candidate for throne. Friends and close sources have noted William's growing sense of responsibility and readiness to assume leadership, which could make him a strong and favored choice. However, the line "replaced by one who will have no mark of a king" has sparked curiosity, leading some to consider more unconventional scenarios. This phrase has fueled speculation that Prince Harry might unexpectedly re-enter line of succession, despite Harry's departure from royal duties and move to United States. His recent visits to UK during his father's health issues have revived this possibility. His unconventional path and strained ties with royal family create intrigue, though his return to throne remains a distant and controversial scenario. This mysterious prophecy has opened door to many interpretations. Some believe it could signify dramatic changes within royal family, such as a reordering of succession due to unforeseen events, or a major crisis within monarchy. Others see it as a symbolic foreshadowing of broader changes, perhaps signaling gradual decline of monarchy as an institution. The idea that a ruler with no mark of a king could ascend throne has even led some to speculate about a potential shift toward a republican or more democratic model of government in UK. Over past decades, discussions about reducing monarchy's power or abolishing institution altogether have gained traction, particularly in Commonwealth nations that have begun severing ties with British Crown. Skeptics argue that Nostradamus' words are too ambiguous to be considered precise predictions. Phrases like King of Isles could apply to various figures, not necessarily Charles III, while one with no mark of a king could hint at a symbolic transformation rather than a literal one. Some historians suggest that prophecy might reflect growing conversations around monarchy's future and its relevance in an evolving society. Whether this prophecy turns out to be a literal prediction or a broader commentary on shifting landscape of governance, it continues to fuel debate over British royal family's future and direction of the nation. Nostradamus' visions of global conflict and shifting power dynamics suggest that world may yet face another devastating war. Some interpretations of his prophecies indicate that a new world war could arise approximately 79 years after end of World War II, aligning with current global tensions. Many see each earthquake, political upheaval, and escalating crisis in volatile regions, such as Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan, as signs that humanity may be approaching final days. While these may indeed serve as warnings of challenging times, they do not necessarily mark arrival of end times itself. Bible offers insight into these last days, with Apostle Paul cautioning that false teachings will increase, causing some to stray from faith and embrace harmful ideologies. The Spirit clearly says that in later times some will abandon the faith and follow deceiving spirits and things taught by demons. Paul warns that end times will be perilous, filled with rising opposition to truth and a shift in human character toward greater moral decline. Throughout history, believers have speculated that end was near, often pointing to wars, plagues, and political turmoil as evidence. Some biblical scholars argue that no single event signals world's end, but rather a series of escalating crises leading to an ultimate moment of reckoning. Many align Nostradamus' warnings about societal collapse and technological revolutions with biblical prophecies, seeing them as interconnected threads in a larger narrative about humanity's future. Technology's role in shaping geopolitical landscape cannot be ignored. Rise of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and autonomous weapons could redefine modern warfare, potentially fulfilling Nostradamus' warnings about machines surpassing human control. A war fought not just with soldiers but with AI-driven warfare could bring unprecedented destruction, making traditional notions of conflict obsolete. Meanwhile, climate change accelerates disasters across the world, lending further weight to Nostradamus' ominous predictions about environmental catastrophe. Superstorms, record-breaking heatwaves, droughts, and food shortages all align with his descriptions of Earth growing dry, then flooding when it is seen. While skeptics remain unconvinced, Nostradamus' prophecies continue to be studied, debated, and analyzed in context of modern global events. Whether his predictions hold literal truth or serve as broader allegories, they remain compelling reflections on history's cycles of conflict, transformation, and renewal. As world faces mounting uncertainty, Nostradamus' visions serve as reminders of fragility of civilization and unpredictability of future. Whether humanity is on brink of unprecedented disaster or entering a new era of adaptation and resilience remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, his words continue to captivate, intrigue, and inspire speculation about road ahead. Natural disasters and moral decline are often cited as evidence that prophetic warnings are unfolding. In modern times, intensification of severe storms, deadly pandemics, widespread famine, and drought, combined with escalating global political strain, fuels this conviction. As societies struggle with increasing instability, many see these events not just as random occurrences, but as signs pointing toward a period of tribulation long foretold in ancient texts. Christ himself warned that wars and global conflicts would escalate before his return, saying, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." Matthew 24 verse 7. Revelation 6 verse 4 reinforces this imagery, depicting a symbolic horseman representing warfare, destined to remove peace from earth. The prophecy speaks of wars and upheavals that will bring humanity to a breaking point, serving as both punishment for widespread corruption and a precursor to divine intervention. While Scripture does not specify how many world wars may occur before final judgment, it does suggest that humanity will witness at least one more major global conflict. Many interpretations propose that events will continue escalating toward a climactic war unlike any before, a battle not just between nations, but one that involves spiritual forces, ideological battles, and an ultimate clash between righteousness and darkness. Though World War I and II are not directly mentioned in Bible, prophetic passages leave room for additional wars before the ultimate confrontation. In this final battle, Christ is prophesied to triumph over all opposition as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. For believers, this victory represents fulfillment of God's promise, restoring justice and ending humanity's suffering under corrupt rule. Yet Christian eschatology does not stop at this climactic battle. It also speaks of a final rebellion after Christ's 1.000-year reign. According to Book of Revelation, Satan will be bound for a millennium, then released to lead one last uprising, This final act of defiance will gather people from all corners of Earth, sparking a rebellion that could resemble a global war on an unprecedented scale. However, prophecy states that this conflict will be short-lived, with Christ casting Satan, along with beast and false prophet, into lake of fire, marking the ultimate end of evil. Beyond wars and political turmoil, Nostradamus's prophecies include ominous warnings about natural disasters and climate crises, which resonate particularly strongly in 2025. His writings describe extreme weather events, severe heat waves, catastrophic wildfires, prolonged droughts, and devastating storms, not only increasing in frequency but also in intensity. His descriptions align disturbingly well with modern climate predictions, as scientists warn of worsening hurricanes, unprecedented temperature rises, and growing environmental disasters driven by human activity. While Nostradamus does not mention climate change directly, his descriptions of environmental chaos parallel contemporary fears about global warming. With each passing year, nations struggle to cope with extreme conditions, record-breaking temperatures, historic wildfires, intensifying hurricanes, and rising sea levels. His warnings now seem less like abstract prophecies and more like disturbingly accurate reflections of present-day crises. Though the Bible does not address climate change specifically, it does foretell a time when Earth will suffer destruction by fire, imagery that some interpret as symbolic of environmental degradation or consequences of industrialization. 2 Peter 3 verse 10 states, "The day of the Lord will come like a thief. The heavens will disappear with a roar. The elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and everything done in it will be laid bare." This prophecy has led some to speculate about its meaning in a modern context. Could destruction by fire symbolize widespread wildfires, escalating heat waves, or even nuclear devastation? Could it refer to industrial collapse, mass extinctions, or the failure of ecosystems that sustain life? In Christian theology, this ultimate destruction is followed by God's promise of a new creation, a new heaven and a new earth, free from the corruption of this world. This raises profound philosophical and moral questions. If Earth is destined to be replaced, how much effort should humanity dedicate to protecting it? Some believers argue that preserving the planet is an act of stewardship, a responsibility given by God. Others see future restoration as a reminder that humanity's ultimate hope lies beyond this world, making efforts to reverse environmental damage seem futile in the grand scheme of prophecy. Nostradamus's vision of climate crisis is particularly relevant in today's context. As global warming accelerates, natural disasters intensify, bringing destruction on an unprecedented scale. His prophecy invites reflection on humanity's ongoing struggle with climate issues and forces a reconsideration of the debate, whether Earth is to be saved or whether its decline is part of divine plan. Throughout history, civilizations have faced existential threats, often interpreting them as signs of impending judgment. From ancient Mesopotamians fearing destructive floods to medieval societies interpreting plagues as divine punishment, humanity has long sought meaning in disaster. These interpretations, shaped by religious beliefs, cultural narratives, and collective fears, have influenced societal responses to crises, shaping policies, rituals, and even political structures. In many cases, catastrophic events have been seen as warnings from the divine, urging societies to repent, change behaviors, or prepare for an apocalyptic future. Ancient Egyptians, for example, linked environmental disasters such as droughts and locust plagues to divine displeasure, prompting rulers to perform elaborate rituals to restore cosmic balance. Similarly, in biblical accounts, events like famine, earthquakes, and disease outbreaks were often framed as consequences of human sin, reinforcing belief in moral causation behind disasters. During medieval Europe's Black Death, widespread devastation led to apocalyptic fervor. with many believing the plague was divine punishment for societal corruption. Some sought salvation through self-flagellation. Others persecuted scapegoats like religious minorities, while certain groups turned toward radical movements, believing the world was nearing its final judgment. The idea that natural disasters reflect divine will has persisted throughout history, shaping how societies interpret suffering and hardship. Today's global crises, from mass migrations caused by droughts to conflicts fueled by resource shortages, echo past struggles, reinforcing idea that history moves in cycles. As climate change accelerates, triggering extreme weather events, wildfires, and water shortages, patterns from past civilizations emerge, highlighting humanity's ongoing vulnerability to environmental instability. Modern geopolitical conflicts further mirror historical tensions. Nations compete for dwindling resources. Political factions weaponize natural disasters for ideological gains, and economic crises spark unrest. Much like past empires that collapsed under strain of war, famine, and division, the rise and fall of great civilizations, from Rome to Mayan society, often followed a pattern of expansion, environmental stress, internal discord, and eventual decline. A cycle many fear is repeating today. Despite scientific advancements and improved disaster preparedness, humanity remains deeply influenced by its historical consciousness. While modern explanations focus on climate science, geopolitics, and economic theory, many still turn to spiritual and philosophical perspectives to understand global instability. Some see recent pandemics, conflicts, and environmental crises as harbingers of an impending reckoning, while others believe that, like past civilizations, humanity is merely navigating another turning point in its history. Some argue that biblical prophecy and Nostradamus' writings describe these cycles rather than foretelling specific events. They see these texts as warnings rather than fixed destinies, urging humanity to learn from past mistakes and adapt to future challenges. Others remain convinced that worsening conditions are evidence that end is approaching, with each crisis serving as another piece of puzzle leading toward final judgment. In modern geopolitical climate, wars and conflicts align eerily with prophetic themes. Rising tensions in Middle East, conflict in Ukraine, growing hostilities between superpowers, and fears of nuclear escalation all contribute to belief that world is teetering on edge of a major global confrontation. With alliances shifting, economies destabilizing, and political divisions deepening, world seems primed for next major upheaval. Meanwhile, technological advancements add another layer to Nostradamus' predictions. Rise of artificial intelligence, automation, and cyber warfare presents new threats unlike anything humanity has faced before. Could machines surpassing human control refer to AI-driven warfare, mass surveillance, or loss of individual freedoms in a digital age? Some believe modern society is already heading toward a world where technology dictates global power, fulfilling Nostradamus' warnings of a new force reshaping systems of control. Ultimately, whether Nostradamus' prophecies are viewed as literal predictions or reflections of historical cycles, they remain thought-provoking. They force humanity to confront deeper questions about fate, responsibility, and the nature of change. Whether global conflicts, climate disasters, and political upheavals are leading toward an inevitable collapse or an opportunity for renewal is still uncertain. As world faces growing instability, Nostradamus' writings serve as reminders of fragility of civilizations and unpredictability of future. Whether humanity is on the brink of disaster or at the threshold of a new era remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, his words continue to captivate, provoke debate, and fuel speculation about what comes next. If you believe in God and near-death experiences, subscribe to Heaven's Whisper today. Discover inspiring messages from God through powerful near-death stories that bring hope and understanding. Subscribe now and join us in spreading the light of faith.